Well, hey friends, welcome back to Let's Talk About Books with Lady Mac, author Chris McIntyre. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've done these. I have 2 months of books to catch up on, and we're halfway through a third, but I'll be back on track after that. Listen, I have been derailed a lot this year. I've been slowed down a lot this year, with a lot of things out of my control entirely. The legal stuff that I've been going through, the family things, the 100 hours without power. But I have still managed to continue to get stuff done, so I'm pretty proud of that. So anyway, today it's just a lazy Saturday when I'm recording this. It's just me in my living room with Jesus. We are here to judge accordingly the books that I have read. I love the shirt. If you know me, you know that I am not conventionally religious in this sense, but I really love the Jesus is watching you read smut stuff, and I exceptionally love that I have some friends who are very religious and often don't do things the way that they should if they are religious, so I just like to remind them that their Jesus, their white man from India behind a lemon, is watching them. All right, everybody is tuned out now because they're offended, and we're going to go over the books that I have read in February and March. Yeah, that's where we're at for catch-up right now. My whole table just rocked. None of these are exceptionally Jesus is judging you smutty. However, April's reads are going to be interesting. But anyway, I digress. I did read some really good books. There is a little smut in one of them. There's a little smut in two of them, but nothing that's like targeted as smutty books or anything. So they're more like just kind of flows with the story. So all that being said, I have 6 books to share with you today, and a couple of them are really good. I really loved. And if you have read any of these or similar books or have anything to share, I would love to hear from you. I'm also going to try to keep everything pretty, stick to the schedule, and I'm not editing a whole lot in this. Another thing I've tried so hard to delegate over time is editing, and I seem to hit roadblock after roadblock with that, with having somebody edit for me and delegating that. So I'm just going to continue to do it myself and do my best to make that easy on myself by not doing too much that needs to be edited. There will be nothing fancy here. Most of you did not come here for the fancy editing anyway, because I've never done fancy editing. All I do is smut. Okay. Laura Lippman's I'd Know You Anywhere was a fantastic read. This book is based around an unaliver who is in jail on death row, and one of his victims he did not end up unaliving. There's a lot of things you can't say on here, guys. You're just gonna have to use your imagination sometimes. Wait till you see the dirty story teaser I've recorded. Wow, did that ever really test my creativity? Anyway, the story goes back and forth between present time, where the unaliver is about to be unalived on unalive row, and the victim is now grown. There's a reason why it took so long to go through trial and all of that. As somebody who's going through the legal system myself with some things, I can tell you it is ridiculously slow. And for sometimes, like, it's not an emergency, like that's cool, but like other times our systems are pretty flawed. Anyway, I digress. Great book. Definitely worth reading. I gave it a 4-star, I think, maybe, give or take. I can never remember what I posted on. It takes a lot for me to be like, oh my God, this book is the most amazing 5-star read ever. I have a few of those that I've read this year, but I don't think any of these are 5 stars. They're all really good. They're all really good 4 stars. From Blood and Ash, I actually really enjoyed as far as a young adult novel. It does have a touch more, maybe it's not quite young adult, because it does have a touch of smut, but I mean, I read like Anne Rice's Anne Rampling in my late teens, and I also read a lot of Stephen King and other things I had no business reading. So would I have read this as a teen? Probably. That being said, I see how the storyline will get better. I wasn't 100% sold on it, but I didn't hate it. There have been a few, I've moved my bookshelves around. There have been a few young adult series that I have attempted to dive into in more recent times, and I did not enjoy. City of Ash, City of Fire, or whatever, that series, The Immortal Instruments, I can't do. I've now read 2 books from, will not read the third. I apologize to everybody who loved it. I would have loved it as a young adult. I am not, and it's weird because there's still young adult books that I absolutely love. And there's new ones that I've read that I've loved. But for some reason, I just can't get into that. But I feel like I would have enjoyed it if I'd found it when I was like 15. Anyway, this series is probably very similar in like that there's like different races and there's like a big political conflict, and it's like the princess who's being forced into this role and blah, 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 and vampires and creatures. But it's well done. I really liked it. I kind of felt like I knew where the twist was going, but it's well done. And I'm very curious to see what happens in the second book. So the second book is on my to be read shelf over there. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I'll get to it. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I'm pretty sure I said that right. This is the second time that I've read this. It's just one of those self-development books that has a lot in it, and it kind of reads differently depending on where you are in your life. So I read this, I want to say 5 years ago. I don't know. Time is an illusion. Maybe it was more. Maybe somebody was like, Chris, it was published 3 years ago. Maybe it was published 10 years ago. I don't know anymore. I read it before though. I really liked it. It was calling to me on my shelf, so I pulled it back down and I reread it. And I did definitely take some good stuff from it this time around. If you are into self-development, it's like an easy read self-development. It's like a Mel Robbins self-development. We're going to talk about Mel Robbins in another video, stealing her books from Cassie Phillips, but that's cool. We'll come back to that. I had really high hopes for Mayfly. Really high hopes. It's all over my my like horror book groups and like splatterpunk. Okay, the storyline was really great. Loved it. I don't know if I felt like the gore scenes and the smut scenes really flowed with the story. They felt very jarring, and they felt very like they were just written and put in there. And the gore was okay. It didn't flow. And her personality didn't flow for me. And a lot of people have said that's because she really doesn't have one. She's a psychopath, and okay, but basically she's like a psychopath, and it's labeled as a female serial killer. She only kills one person until like this far into the book, and it's literally because there was like a threat to her family member. So I went this far into the book being like, first of all, I don't think a serial killer is a woman who kills one person because her family member was threatened. Right? And then even still, everyone else that she killed, unalived. Oh no, I've said the wrong word. I'm going to be demonetized for this video. I'm not editing that. We're taking a hit on this. Please watch my videos. I'll make 12 cents. Yeah, she's like an unaliver, and then basically falls head over heels for this hockey jock because he's good looking. And then they have really weird, gory segsy time that just doesn't fit. None of it fits. But all right, it was like a 3-star read. The storyline was actually really good though. All in all, liked it, especially the ending. Especially the ending. I love me an ending like that. So there you go. Mayfly did not live up to my thought it would be expectations, but wasn't terrible. Five Little Indians I loved. I loved in like a way that is really heartbreaking and really hard to read and really sucks as a white woman in Canada to know that my friends, families, and loved ones have been treated like this by our own government, by our own people in power, and so horrifically abused and swept under the rug and forgotten, and it sucks. I highly recommend reading this. It is an emotional read. I was actually really grateful to see that when I got this book I bought it from like a charity thing at a library. It actually had a cutout of the author and part of her story. So I kind of got a little taste of her as well as the book. So I love this. I found this beautifully well written. One of my best friends is Indigenous, and becoming more educated in a lot of wrongs and how I can be a good advocate and use my voice for them is something that's become extremely important to me. Not that it shouldn't have been for any of us. It plays a special role in my heart, and I have a list of Indigenous reads that I'm working my way through, and a course that I started the other year that I probably pick away at like an hour a month. But it is important to me to become educated so that I can be mindful of the things I say and the way I support others in our community. I'm going to get a little emotional there. And then I'm going to end on this book. So like we'll just stay in the emotional zone. My Story by Elizabeth Smart is a true life account of her kidnapping in the 1990s. And I believe it was for 8 months, maybe 9 months. She was basically just taken from her home and held captive by this religious nut who did awful things to her and to others, and made her, they traveled across the country. They lived on a mountain for a while, like right behind her house. I can't even imagine the trauma and abuse and the mental state. This poor girl, she was like 11, I think, when she was taken. Anyway, it's very well written. It's very touching. I love to see that she's come so far and that she's an advocate and she uses her voice, and she is way more than a survivor to me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great read. Very emotional. Be aware of what you're getting into when you read it, but I really loved it. So there you have it. The last 6 books that I read in February and March. In basically my loungewear with Jesus. Maybe I should have done some with my face, but we're here. I had somebody, the most random comment, I'm just going off field here, on my Facebook a few months ago. I shared a Snapchat filter, and this guy I didn't even know was on my Facebook just went off about how women use all these filters and all these things and we're not authentic. And I was like, me of all people that you're going to go off on, like 99% of my stuff, I don't even have cover up on. I don't have a stitch of nothing on. I wash my face and put face cream on. I have a pretty good skincare routine. That's it. This is me. This is how I roll out of bed. So I was like, I feel like this is the craziest hill to die on, my friend. And I didn't even respond. Like 8 other women shoot him a new one, and then he removed himself from my Facebook. So anyway, you're over here. I keep looking at the wrong spot. Okay, guys, there we go. Finally, we're back on track. I have other stuff going up. I have a clip of an interesting attempt to tell you about a story I wrote. It's really good. If you made it this far, spoiler alert, I wrote a naughty story. Go check it out. It's about a wet mess. You'll love it. Just go to ladymacxo.com/blog. You will find everything there. You'll find a lot more too. I write a lot of short, fun stuff for you guys. So that video will be coming next. It involves a lot of creativity of me attempting to say and not say so many things. And then I have some updates on what I'm doing with my new business and with my next book. And then I'll have to figure out what I'm doing after that. Maybe I'll have another smegzumucational video for you. Okay. Thank you for watching, you guys. Tell me what you're reading. Have you read any of these books? I'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned next month because I'm dabbing into some of Chantal Tessier's stuff. I'm going to be demonetized for those ones. Okay, Jesus and I are out. We're going to go judge some other things and read some smut. Stay kinky, my friends, and keep reading.